Good morning, everyone. It is a Thursday morning, and we're just getting started here. Yesterday, I played around with and created a number of animations that can be used when you enter into a scene. Can you picture things like transporters landing? Yeah, whatever. Fade in and smoke and mirrors. No, just kidding, not mirrors. But all kinds of fun stuff happening when we come into the scenes. I created a bunch of those animations. Well, today I'm going to set it up so that each individual avatar can select, when you select your animations, you can select how you want to enter the scene. That'll be really cool, and then we'll be able to have enter and how you exit the scene. So we'll set up some cool stuff and work on that. See if we can't get it as part of our main flow of how everything works. So welcome to join me, and here I go digging into the code. Okay, let's jump in the code page, and first thing is let me demo a couple of these things to you, because that's, well, actually let me jump in, start on this thing, and then we'll demo in just a little bit here as we go, so that you see a few of them as we go. Okay, first things first, what I want to do is, I was thinking the best place for this is when you edit your avatar. I was thinking about adding another menu item here, but it's really not. It actually falls under avatar animations. So we have all these various animations. We should have one, maybe the top of the list or something here that actually says enter animation. And then we can have one that says exit animation, so that we have some type of, it is an animation, so I don't see any reason why it shouldn't be right here. Let's take a look at how that is created. We have this piece right here. Finding files. Okay, we're gonna locate where that piece is built, which is right here. And okay, yeah, that's right. This thing has all kinds of interesting little pieces here, and it has different things that it does based on which one you select. Okay, let me imitate what this is doing without being one of these in this dynamically created menu, because this particular one needs to run a different set when we run it, and we're going to need to kind of clean that up. Okay, because this is kind of out of order. The easiest way to see this would be, let's go for F12 for seeing our admin side of the screen here. And if I click on one of these, this is the line item. And I'm trying to see if I'll be doing it in the code behind, which is a possibility. I just need to make sure that I'm not interfering with the way it creates that area. Oh, it looks like what I did, if I remember right, is, yeah, that's what it is. Okay, so we have this first one that says, hey, we're going to look at the walk. And when you click that, it opens it up. Then we have this other section underneath it. If I take, I'm going to see if I can't create that same feel right here at the top of the list in HTML. To do that, we're not going to do that on click anyway. We don't have to worry about that. It looks like I'm going to copy element. Not in the code behind, but in the actual menu page right here. We're going to see if we can't make this a little, well, it starts with a UL. Let's see if we can't interfere with some things. Enter animation or entrance. Let's go with entrance. Now that might be I can't even think of what I want to call this. Let's see. I'm trying to think of something that would... Animation on enter. Wait a minute. Let me bring that click element back. I think I can take advantage of that. And on enter, we'll take a look at that and see if it's something we can use or not. Enter scene. That kind of sounds better. We'll say enter 3D scene. We're doing 3D, everybody, in case you haven't figured that out yet. No. I know, I'm in a mood. I'm in a mood. Yes. Here we go. I think this is a line item, and those are line items, and I think this is one inside of that. I need to check and see what UL padding, that's what it has. Let's copy element. And let's put that around this. Whoa, that's a little more than I thought it was going to do. Oh, we didn't need the on walk with that. And then we are going to have a closing tag of UL. I think this might cause a space, but we're going to see if we can't collapse the space if it does. I'm just trying to see if I can make this kind of fit. I don't know if I can use this. Finding files here. Part of load avatar. This one is going through each one of the divs and closing and toggling the one that you selected or hiding the rest of them. Animation div, current IND is the one I'm working with, and then I can use a negative number on current IND because it's just a variable I'm passing to see if I'm hitting the one I'm doing. And the total, where am I getting total? Total is 181. Wow. Do not exactly understand why I have that total in there. That might have been the actual number of animations. Okay, whoops, where'd I go? Let's click it again here. Oh, load avatar. I'm going to move that over closer here so that I can find it easily. Good morning, everyone. If you're just joining us, working on applying some animation entrance animations. The line item, I don't even think I have the end tag in place yet. Yes, I do. Okay, that's one line, enter 3D scene. On enter, load avatar. On enter is animation name. I do not want to load that because I'm not loading them the same way. You know what? I need a different function. That's all there is to it. This is not going to do what I need it to do. So let's create a new one. Edit avatar. Enter animation, and here we don't need any of this. We'll use the one below me to get it to close off all of the tabs, but we're going to have it toggle the one that we're working with. that will make it work. And here all I have to do, enter animation, and we're going to pass these, copy that. The first one is going to be blank. The current ID is going to be -1 because then we don't have a match, and the total can still be 181, which is what we already have there. And now on top of that, that closes off all of them. And now all I have to do is work with the one that I have, which is WTW toggle, copy that, toggle, and whatever name we call this thing, which is going to be our next line of code, which is this animation ID here. We have an indent, and we have a, see, we're doing this right here. So let's put that together. We can go right, that's this item here all the way through here. We need that complete item. We're going to copy element, and then we're going to drop it right there. Okay, so now working with that, we have the layout in place. Okay, indent, and then we have input value hidden. We do not need that. That's not going to be how we save this value. So that input, well, that's interesting. The input didn't have a closing tag. I can't imagine I would do an input without a closing tag. That doesn't make sense to me. We'll figure that out in a minute. And these particular items, they're all very specific to working with that select, which we're not going to be doing. We are going to be doing our own version of the select statement. We'll even name it what we want to call it. And we're going to have our own onChange event. Okay, select animation, and we're just going to call it enter. That should give us this, and animation div enter. Okay, we're setting up a few things here. This piece needs to go to here. That will toggle that section, and it'll force it to close this. What we need is this piece here, and actually we didn't use current or total, actually hard coded them in. Okay, so enter edit enter animation should be the click for this right here. We're getting these in place, we're getting it all in place here, and that should open and close this block right here, and then we'll worry about what this has in here for options. We're going to put a dummy in place real quick and give this a test. Let's see if that loads the way I expected it to. There might be a gap underneath it because of the way we went with a different UL. Come on, load. Yeah, it's getting there. Now that we have the layout, then we can start working with it. Connection reset. Wow, that was interesting. And loading the page. Okay, not sure why we had all that kind of issues. Hey, but look at this. I want to show you we are hitting some high 40s, mid to high 40s, occasional 50s in frames per second. That's not bad. Right now I don't even need that showing, so I use the CPU cycles to do that. Here we go. Edit my avatar and animations. We have enter 3D scene. Oh, it should start collapsed. Let's fix that. This. See, it went display visible. None. And visibility is hidden by default. And once it sets that initial value, it will automatically do what we want it to. And that's what we have now. We have a drop-down that pops up under Enter Scene. Looks like they're uniform, so there was no extra spaces there. I was worried that it was going to give a gap, but we have nothing to correct. So Enter 3D Scene. We're going to start and create what we have to choose from that particular point. Now, in here, load avatar. I've been creating a ton of these. And what we have is a failure to communicate. Okay. I know. Fine. I'm using the keyword to find this. Grow glow. That's a hint of what it's going to do. Here it is. Avatar enter, and it is going to be avatar name. So it passes the avatar name, and then it uses this. But let me see which order I have these in, because I want to kind of, maybe if I'm going to change the order at any point in time, this would be the time to change them. And one is going to be just basically pop into show is visible, show fade, show grow. Then we have, you know what, we have another version of fade, so let's do the ones with fade first. We have fade with smoke. Then we have fade with a swirl. You get to see these in a few minutes. And then we have fade sprite. That's technical names. We'll come up with some friendlier names here in a minute. And then we have fade particle. Let's see, we have grow and show, grow and glow, grow and smoke, and grow, glow, and smoke. Okay, that's some pretty technical names there. We're going to number them again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I know you can count. 6, 7. I'm doing it so it stays in my head so I don't mess up my counting. And 10. So there's 10 different ways we can enter a room right now. These are the 10 that I created. What we'll do is, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be setting based on those numbers which one we want the avatar to do, and then we have to write it to a database so that from there it can be pulled from the database when you load your avatar as part of that set, and then when he appears into the scene, that will be how it appears. So there's a lot of pieces that this has to follow through to do that full sequence from the moment we set it all the way through the end. Right here, what I'm going to do, value equals 1, and I'm going to first create 10 of these. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, something like that. If I didn't tap it wrong or something. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And now for each one of these, I want it to, I want to name them better. The first one actually just kind of pops into the scene. It's fast pop. We'll just call it fast pop. Hey, well, we can always change these names later on. The second one is show fade. So let's fade in. Fast pop, fade in. Now fade with smoke. I know, technical names, right? Fade swirl. This one, Right? It reminds me of Superman because when they had Zod at the beginning of the movie, they had those two rings and they would rotate around and it looked like the rings were doing this on each other. And I kind of created something that looks like that, and you fade in during that. We could call it fade with rings. Technically, it's my Superman one, I think, but. And then fade with the sprite. Fade with, let's see, another word for a sprite. It's actually a sphere. Fade with, it's sprites. Okay, fade with stars. Fade with sphere. We could rename that later if it turns out that we got a better name for it, because I think we can come up with a better name with it. That one is kind of fade. I don't have to put the word with on each one of these. So fade transport. You'll understand that one. Fade transport. Fade particles. That's that number 6. Yeah, fade particles. This one's kind of cool. I know. I got a good name for that. Atomic fade, because it's a bunch of particles. Transport. We'll just call it transport. Ring transporter. I know, I got to come up with better names. What's that? Atomic fade. And then transport, just call it transport. Yeah. Transport rings. Yeah. And then fade with smoke. What's a better way to do that? That's kind of just smoke.
Yeah.
Smoke something. What's a good word to go with smoke? Blah, 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 blah. Anybody help me out here. Help me out. Let's see, smoke. Blah, 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 blah. How about smoke appearance? No, too long. Smoke. Smoky.
Are you looking for fade smoke?
I guess, yeah. Smoke. Smoky. Smoky fade. Yeah, I guess I'll leave it that way. Okay. Yeah. And then number 7 is show and grow. So this one kind of, this is Ant-Man-ish type thing where he just pops into the scene, but he just kind of just grows right into place. So, quick grow. Quick grow. And then we have glowing grow. Oh, wait a minute. If you were going to grow and it's that, how about instead of glowing, another word for glowing when you're doing something like that would be if it was radioactive. Radioactive spawn. There's a good name. Quick grow. Radioactive spawn. There we go. We got to give some good names here. People got to talk about this. Okay. Show grow with smoke. Okay, so growing with smoke. Smoky grow. Okay, and the final one. Show grow glow and smoke. Grow glow and smoke. Well, the radioactive spawn should be the last one with the show grow and smoke all in one. Okay, I like that better for the like ultimate radioactive spawn. And then number 8 was grow and glow. So lightning glow. I think I made this one yellow. We can play around with the colors too, because I can change what color it does. But lightning, let's call it lightning. Well, what's another word for like spawn, lightning? Let's see. Or grow. We need other words for grow. Thesaurus. We'll go to the thesaurus and we're going to type in the word. Let's get some good words here. Breed. No. Develop, expand, expansion. Rise. Rise.
There you go.
Sprout. Swell. Thrive. Turn. Rise. Okay, let's see. Lightning.
Evolve.
Evolve. Lightning.
Rise. I like the rise.
Lightning rise. And smoky grow, we need to put a different word in for that. So when it's basically smoking and, okay, where's this doing? Close the ad. Smoking evolution. Evolve?
Or evolution, same thing.
Yeah. Evolution. Yeah, we got to come up with good names. Quick grow, atomic fade. Let's look for another word for fade. We're coming up with some good names here for some different type of scene entrances. Anybody want to kick in some words? Help yourself. We're trying to think of, I know, how many times can you say the word fade in, fade of different ways with smoke? Dissolve, let's see, this is evaporate. That's the opposite than what I'm thinking of. It's from a fade. We're doing the opposite of fade. Where's the, I usually should say antonyms. Where is it?
Yeah, right there.
Am I missing? Oh,
Here,
appear.
Where are you going? Go back.
What do you mean? I'm there.
Oh, okay.
You got a delay.
There you go.
No. Okay, so appear, arrive, brighten, darken, color, entrance, enhance, improve, recover, sharpen, strengthen. Okay. Appear, let's fast pop. Okay, smoky fade, atomic. What were the words? Atomic. Atomic enhancement. Atomic enhancement.
Okay.
And smoky fade. Let's see if we can do a different one instead of fade there. So smoky appearance. Okay. Hello.
Smoky arrival. Okay, that's good.
Arrival. We could do arrival. Is that one R or two? I always mess that one up. Okay, smoky instead of appearance. Smoky arrival. You said 1, right? 1R? Did you say 2 R's?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I didn't think it looked right when I tucked it with 1. Okay, smoky arrival. There we go. Now we have some names that are worthy. Okay, and let's, oops, jump back to code. Okay, where am I going from here? I need to tell it on change what to do, which means now we need a place to store this information. On our database, user avatars, user animations, technically is a user animation. Let's look at the rows here because I think it's going to be an issue trying to mix it in with here and then decipher it. It doesn't have any of this style to it. I think user avatars might be the proper place to put it because that tells our styling. We could add 2 fields here, one for appear, our enter and exit animations. I think that would be our best bet. Alter table. First thing we're going to do is add it in here, then we'll tell it to add it into the other part of the code. Enter animation, and that's going to be an integer. And we're going to set it for, 0. We have 0 handled, which means they haven't changed it yet. We're going to add an exit animation. Oh, that's so funny. Here, when I went to INT, it didn't. There it goes. Okay, and this one, we're going to set that to 0. We're not doing anything with it just yet. Some of these enter animations also have a color associated to it, and I could give them a value of the color so that they can select that. Enter animation, M-A-T-I-O-N, color. I didn't misspell that. Good. I'm going to leave it 45 characters. That should be plenty. And by default, we're going to tone it down with gray. And we're going to give them the option to do something with it. But since I'm making this go this far, exit animation color. You know what? We're going to give it a little bit more than that just because. You know what? Instead of just calling it color, some of these animations that we decide to do may have different variables that we want to pass. So let's go ahead and give it the option to be whatever we need to pass. Animation parameter. That way they're pretty vague. We're not trying to lock it into a particular thing. And we can use it for whatever we need to in the future. It won't be just necessarily a color. I'm trying to type carefully so I don't misspell these because once they're in here, it's a lot harder to fix. Well, I mean, it's easy to fix in here, but it's harder to fix what I've given out to everybody else. That one I want to be after last IP, so if I do this and then just change it here, then it'll put it in order. Finish that. Okay, so we've added those extra fields, and while I'm at it, I want to make sure that we update our original table so I don't forget. Basically, I can go user avatars, SQL editor, create statement, take this whole statement, copy that, and put that into In our functions, we have a table definition file, WTW tables, and one of them is our action zones and animation. Oh, it's user avatars, so that's going to be down towards the end of these. Avatar animations. Oh, it should have been. Oh, that's inserting. Web images, web users and role, users and user avatars. It's this table here. And we're going to put that right in there. That updates the format of what we have. And the only thing I have to do is get this table prefix piece in place. That will be right there. And we'll worry about this DB update piece here shortly. I haven't forgotten. That has to be done for anybody that already did an install so that it can compare the current fields in the table and automatically put them into the new table once they've updated. Okay, so what I've done is we've updated the user avatar tables so that we have these new fields. Now that we have the fields, now we can tell it what we want to do when they make a change. And let's create that process. First thing I'm going to do is copy a little format here. I don't worry about the order of these things necessarily. I try to keep them a little bit of in a little bit of an order, but I'm going to have to do a few things with it anyway, so it's okay that they're not in order. I'll go through this file afterwards and put them all in the correct order and make it all pretty and stuff. But that's just reordering the different functions. For now, I want it close to where I'm working so that I can bounce back and forth just by scrolling. Save avatar, TR. Save avatar, enter animation. And that will be without any parameter because we'll pull it from the actual, we'll pull it from the one that's out there. Then on this, on change, we want WTW this to happen. As we change it, we're going to tell it just automatically update and write it to the database. First thing we're going to do is var, and we're going to get the actual item that they've selected. Since there's more than one on this list, we don't have to worry. Fast pop will be the default unless they tell me different. We'll do some things to load it and make sure that it's telling them which one they've already picked. But at the moment, by default, until we tell it something different, fast pop will be the first on the list and it'll look like it's selected. We can do something to make sure that it's something selected. Var enter equals, I'm just going to shorten this, we'll call it zenter equals wtw.get ddl value. And I wrote this little function because it makes it so much easier to grab the value of any type of drop-down list. I have one for value and I have one for text, so I can get the value pretty easy. If zenter equals -1, then I want to assign zenter equals 1. Actually, if zenter is, that'll be less than 0. 0 is, no, that would be selected index. It'll never be -1. If it's undefined, if it's null, if it's anything else other than, actually it should come up blank. So I should be able to check if it's numeric. Then we got a value equals false. Then enter equals 1. We'll give it the first value, which is just to pop into the scene. And now we're going to run a, we're gonna input something into here. Let's go to common, find iPage. I like just grabbing my function of how I'm doing these. Find next, not from there. That's not a good example. Here's a good example. Copy that. And now we're going to get these values and submit them into the database. And we are going to use, oops, I didn't copy enough. Come in. There's one more line here. And a note. Okay. That gives me the format I need. And what I'll do is, starting with avatars, that's the name of the iframes page that we're going to pull. And on this page, we're going to create a new item. The first thing is we need to know my avatar ID, which is user avatar ID. That's one of the fields we're going to have to set, so we know which one we're updating. Then we're going to need a new field in here to set the value that is selected. We're going to give it a little short field, and I'm going to call this one T. It is technically an avatar animation. We'll call it that because then the enter and exit ones can be the same thing. Use this same field. We don't need anywhere near that number of characters. I said 3 even though I'm only using 2. Little padding. That's going to be the field that we're pulling that from, and that should, we'll have to do something to update the color afterwards because we're not going to actually have the color at that time. And finally, we want to create the button that we press to tell it to do this. So this will be save animation, save, enter, save, transportation, blah, 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 blah. Trying to think of a good word. Save animation is just kind of so wide open for, I have avatar animation, save. I know, enter, exit. Those are the key words. Save, transport animation. That'll be enough that we know what it is when we see it. Trying to be technical on this stuff. Okay, save, enter, or exit animation. This particular one, we're going to create a new section up here. And this will be the name of our button that we pushed, followed by, we don't have the function yet. We'll add the function here in a minute. And I don't think there's a round trip. We just need to know that it just needs to save. And so I don't need to bounce that back to anything. I don't need to make it return back to the script. But when that's selected, we are going to pass a couple values. You know what? Let's add one more field, and the reason is because we need to know if it's enter or exit animation. And so we will call this, what do we call it? Transport. Transport. We'll know what that means. And basically that's going to be a 1 or a 0. 1 will be in, 0 will be exit. That'll be easy enough to remember. Let's add that to here where we're passing the values. Copy that. Copy that there. And also the name of our button that's going to be clicked when we run this function is there. And now we need to collect this information and pass it into here. Let's see, first we have user avatar ID. And that'll go there. We'll figure out which one that is. This one is avatar animation, which is going to be this value, so let's make it more consistent since we're picking that up right here. And that will be this value right there. And finally, the last one is this transport. And we will pass a 1, which will be entering the scene. We'll know what that means when it gets to the code. This is the only one we need to fix, which is my avatar, which gets used like in about half this code up here. Let's see, user to instance. All I have to do is look for any line that goes to the database or goes to the Let's grab that. My avatar ID is this one, which is this value based on if you're anonymous or not. So let's copy that exact same thing and back down to our little block of code. I didn't go too far, did I? Here it is. And this will be, I'm going to set that here just because I like my variables up front. There's our variable for that, and we drop it here. That makes sense to the rest of our code, so we'll use it this way. It's user avatar ID, and that's the user avatar. I know I could have just left it my avatar ID since I'm using my avatar ID right there. Kind of makes sense. Okay, request. Everything looks good on this side, so that'll give us our values off of the form that we just set. Right when we change it, it'll automatically update it, and we will get this pressed, which will run this piece of code right here. And now we need to tell it on our avatars page, we need to create a function and update it in the database. So we're going to do, let's pass our values that we want it to do. Let's create the name of the function. We're going to have 3 different values. I'll go right to there. And now we'll get the correct values in there, which is my avatar ID that we brought. Okay. And the second one is this transport. Bum-ba-dum-ba-dum. There. Actually, that's the third one. We'll pass them in that order. And the last one is avatar animation, which is going to be a number that we want to set as the enter piece. And this is going to be update avatar transport. They're either transporting in or transporting out, but it's still the transport that we're going to do. That gets us this piece of it. Copy that, and that's part of our avatars page. So let's go to our avatar function. Just going right down through the list here. I'm just scrolling towards the bottom of this because it's a good place to be. And we'll public function this. And then let's turn these into local variables. We're going to go with our Z naming for consistency. Okay. And from there, next we have, we need to run a function. Let's see if we got something really similar to this, because we just need to basically do an update statement. It's pretty clear. Let's just do it. Okay. I'm going to get this in here just so that we have the framework of the function in place. I don't need to check to see if it exists, because if it doesn't exist, it's not going to update anything anyway. I really don't need to go that far into it. I just need to know that it attempted to do the update statement. So the success is that it tried the update statement. It's not going to be that it actually ran anything beyond that. Okay, that slims this down to the minimum that we need. Now here, user avatars, columns. I'm going to scroll that where we can see it. Yeah, coffee time, coffee, coffee, coffee. Cold coffee is still coffee. Okay, user avatars. So user avatar animations, we're going to go to user avatars. We're going to be setting the... We will have two different pieces. I'll get that in a minute. Okay, transport's going to be doing either the enter or the exit, and we'll be able to grab that. Thank you. Oh, you're stirring. Oh, your favorite thing. Avatar animation ID is not what we're updating. We're updating something. This is going to be the animation that we're putting in its place, and it's a number, not a text. So we're going to do that to it. And here, user avatar ID is going to be my avatar ID. Actually, we're going to go ahead and change that over here. And here, now we've got that in place. Deleted, it's not deleted, so we need, I'm going to leave, we're going to do something here. We've updated it, so I want to say update date. And I want to do update user ID, so we know which user did the particular change. Then if it was deleted, now it isn't. And the user ID of deleting is null because we got rid of that, and it's automatically a 0 instead of a 1. The only other part that I need to update here is, okay, we're setting the animation, and we are not setting that. This avatar animation ID is not the value. We're going to be updating one of those two fields based on the transport. If z_transport equals 1, then we need to give it a variable. Z direction equals exit. Otherwise, z direction equals enter. Now I have the word enter, and notice it's animation, enter animation, exit animation. So we're going to leave the word animation right here and put, instead of that, the word enter or exit. It's going to be inserted just like that. Now we've told it enter animation, we're giving it the value that we've done, and we've updated the statement, and it should execute. We'll give that a shot. Transport, let's fix that. Now this should work, and when we move, okay, right now, let me get to user avatars. When I come here and I refresh this page, user avatars right here, enter is 0. What we're going to do is, okay, kill that off, And here I want to see if we get that far. I'm going to edit my avatar. By the way, that's Smoke and Grow. That's one of them. And don't worry, we're going to be showing you show off all of these ones as we get going. And it's all about the way that they enter the scene. So edit my avatar, animations, enter the scene, and right now it says fast pop, but that's not which one it was. It's not going to change right now because I haven't told it to read it in from the database yet. I just want to see that when we do this, it actually shows up from here. We're going to go to this number, which should, in the background, change the database. Let's find out. Yes, number 4. We got that far. Yay. Okay, that's a good sign. That means this did update, and also our update user ID came through. It knows that I made the update, and the date of the update was changed. Boom. That all worked. Yay. That's a good sign. Now that one is set, now we have to be able to read them in. The next part, to get them to read in, let's jump back here. When we read an avatar, we are getting that from a couple different places. First of all, connect. We have avatars right here, and we are reading in all their different values. The A right here is user avatars, which is that complete table. So we already know the SQL statement has all the fields that we want. We need to add 4 fields here. We're going to get all 4 of them in place while we're doing this. And they're going to be called enter animation. And we're going to put a number 1 in there because it's going to be fade in if it doesn't read from the database, it's going to be the pop in. And we're going to say exit animation, which those aren't written yet, but we're going to do some things with that. Then we have enter animation parameter. That's a long word. I know, I could have done something a little shorter on that word, but it's what it is. Okay. We'll worry about passing those parameters afterwards. Let's get one thing at a time working. We haven't given you a way to set a parameter, so there's no reason to change a parameter at this point. Okay, this goes here, and we need to read it out of the database. Copy that. 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's get those same names. No reason to wait for my typing again. Copy that. And copy that. And finally copy that. And these names are very exact out of the database without the Z. So we can get the names of the parameters here. Copy that. Okay, so that provides it out of the database, and now we need it to actually do something down here. I don't want to scroll back and forth, so I'm going to take those 4 names and bring them down here so I can work with them for a second. I won't put them in the function I'm working. I'll delete them afterwards. And let's see. We don't want to put it in our animation desk because those are treated differently. Is it part of object file folder? No. We have... Looks like this one's a pretty two-dimensional. I mean, there's a couple pieces. We have avatar parts and avatar defs that are a subfolder of this. So I don't see any reason to create a subfolder out of these 4 entries. Later on, I may change my mind on that, but for now, we're going to just pass them in through here. That. Actually, you know, I'm gonna put them in the right order. The enter parameter should be after the enter animation because they kind of go together. We'll do them in that order, and we'll call this enter parameter, exit, and then exit parameter. Now, just by doing this little piece here, we've already got it where when it reads in the user ID piece, it will actually pull that into the database here. Now, remind you, this isn't the multiplayer part, so I'm still going to have to do some adjustments onto the multiplayer stuff to make this all work for the multiplayer piece. But just testing one piece at a time, and then we'll add it to the other part. That gets our avatars with all the functionality that they're going to have. And, you know, I might... do I need to do it in multiplayer? Yes, I will. Yeah, okay. Just thinking ahead. But that gets our 4 values in here, which means that we have now modified the avatar object model. And I like to do these updates in here. This is just one of those things that if I keep doing it, then we always have a current object model of any possible answers for anything that we put in here. So I have the molds, I have the connecting grids, I have the avatar, which is coming up right here, avatar def. And by doing this, oh, see, I have object and I have different pieces here. Why is that other one different? This is the complete avatar, and I load that from... I want to make sure there's not 2 different pieces that I'm grabbing things from. This is avatars here. Some of this stuff happens and changes while you're actually using it. This is the actual build. Trust me, there's a method to my madness. We're good. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add those 4 pieces in here. For now, I just copied and pasted them so I wouldn't have to bounce back and forth between the pages. But let's see, I did privacy right here, so I'm going to keep it in kind of the same location-ish. There'll be a 1 on that one and that one, and this is what it's called. First of all, we have that, this, that, and this one. Now, if we created an avatar on the fly, it does have a setting by default, and that keeps it until we actually need to update it and we make a change on our own. Okay. Let's see, jumping forward from there. Now that we've brought in these values, now we're going to have to do something with it. But I want to see, when I bring in the avatar, I want to make sure that I'm actually loading my avatar from that particular file. And let's see what we have here. New avatar in load avatar. See, this is where I was worried about it. Whenever I run new avatar, then I set some values based on this def and get my avatar. Those are pretty... Load my avatar. Okay, I'm just checking. Load my avatar, gives it the selected avatar, put some things in place. This is not returning my saved avatar. Load avatar from DB. This is where it actually does it. This particular function, this is what I was looking for. What happens is, when it grabs it from the DB, which is being called from right here, it's already doing connect avatars, and which is the file we just updated. So when it goes to here, response avatar, it is sending us the values as the first field in load avatar. So our custom def, where we have privacy, we also have the ability to set right here. We're gonna add those 4 fields, and once again, they are these 4 names here. And what we're doing is we're passing it through the piece. If it's being preloaded, this is where we're going to preload them. So this is actually the location where these exist, and we're basically passing it from the read-in value to this avatar def that's being used to actually create the avatar in place. So if I do that, and this, and once more for here. Now I've passed those values into the avatar def, and the first place I have to use them is in the loading. Find my next case 1. Oops, it's case. I even know what I did. Okay, find next. Here we are. Show visible parts. The reason I did that was because it's right here. This. Do we have the avatar def being passed in here? No, we do not. We have the avatar name. We get the avatar, which means avatar WTW. We can get the def. Let's not do it here. Let's do it here. I'm going to pass this information. We're going right here to grab the avatar, and we're getting the scale. I can already use that same definition piece right here. I can actually pull that value of which one they've set, and they can go on from there. We're going to pass the avatar name, but I'm not going to pass the value. We're going to actually collect that on our own, because it'll be per avatar. So in here, instead of W, which we'll make it a better name now, Z animation, and we will call that enter animation, because that's technically what it is. And then we have from here avatar. There's a couple places I already did this right. A couple of these I had to go into the object model and get certain things. It's all under avatar parts. No, I need this WTW. It's going to have a WTW in it. Suppose clean. No. Here we go. Scaling was part of the object model. We should be able to look at the same level as WTW scaling. This is what I need right here. There was a method to my madness. And we're going to put that right here. And it's not scaling that we're looking for. It is enter animation, which, if I spelled that right, it is enter animation. Yep, okay. Is not null. And if I do that, now what happens is that's going to be the value that I'm looking for. We're going to make sure that it's, well, we could check to see if it's a number, but I don't think we even need to worry about that, because if it's not null, it should be something right out of the database, which only writes numbers in the database or the word null. Well, I guess if it was the word null, I set a default value. Okay, we'll check to see if it's numeric. Talked me into it. That was a left brain, right brain fight. No, just kidding. If wtw.isNumeric, and then we're going to set enter animation this equals, first we're going to set it equals 1, like that. Here we're going to set it equal to this value. And from that, we should now get the different ones that we've selected on our entry. Let's see if that would be the case. Which means right now we should see some type of, yes, there's the rings that we selected. Yay, that was our transporter in. Okay, something's happening. Yay. Animations. I didn't tell it to reload this list and tell me which one I already had, so let's try Atomic Enhancement. Now that we've clicked it, it's already set. I should be able to close that off. And if I refresh my page, we should get a different piece in here. And let's see, how am I going to come in? Whoa, yes. Nice, huh? That's a different one. We can always do some more adjustments to these, but so far this is what I have. And let's pick a different one. So we're showing off some of the different ones we have. Quick grow, let's see, lightning rise. I'll show you what this one does. So this is changing the way we come into a scene. Watch my character, here it goes. Okay, let's pick a different one just to do it. Edit my avatar and avatar animations, enter 3D, and it is okay, let's go for the big one, radioactive spawn. I know this one combines more than one thing. So let's refresh the page and see how I'm going to come into the scene. And that's kind of, I've got some better ones. I could make it green or something, or change the colors that it does it to make it look more radioactive. I think green would be more radioactive. Okay, but we have different scenes. Edit my avatar, avatar animations, enter 3D scene, and this is like transport reams. That was pretty cool. Transport. This one's kind of cool. Here, we'll show you this one. Welcome back. And here we go. This one comes in this way. A little bit of smoke, a little bit of particles. Kind of cool. We could always adjust these and stuff like that, but the smoke clears. That's kind of funny. Okay. So we have these different items. Now the biggest part, or the next part is to, the next part is to make it load up which item to select in this list when it loads up the avatar for my avatar. And I can do that when okay, I just had that spot when I set this particular thing. There's an easy way to do this. If I just say enter animation, let's find in files. Oh, it's not. Well, it is going to find it. Here it is. Load avatar, and it should be this section right here. When I bring in that value, because I am loading the avatar from DB, and load avatar from DB only gets called in one place, and it is going to be loading my avatar in particular. I don't think we can load other avatars using that function because we pull them all in from the get avatar. Okay, there it is. This is only get saved avatar. Okay, so this is only my avatar that uses this function. If I move my cursor, I get it back. So when it tells me what this value is right here, I can use that same value And I can write, right before it loads the avatar, we'll do it in this particular place. WalkTheWeb dot set DDL. I don't know, is that the correct terminology? And then the value, let me double check and make sure I typed that one correct. It's all about the lettering. Set DDL value, yes, that is correct. Okay, I was worried about the mix case. And then if I put in this name, copy that, and put that right there. Now when I load the scene, I should have that already set as soon as my avatar gets added to the scene. So let's check that. Because right now, notice that, well, it said it was just going to pop into place. Okay, so we know that he came in a certain way, and if I edit my avatar and go to those avatar animations, this particular one, notice it says transport. So it remembered our setting of how we came into the scene. So if I go to transport rings and close this, now if I reopen it, transport rings, see we don't have any problem with it changing in between stuff. And when I refresh the page, we get transporter rings. Yay! That's a spinning rings. That was kind of influence from Superman to use those transporter rings. So in your My Avatar settings, avatar animations, I added this new enter 3D scene, and basically I've given it a couple different methods of how we can add them. We have lightning rise. Okay, we got a bunch of different ones, and when you set them, notice when you get, I'm just refreshing the page for now to show how he brings it into the scene, but basically when he comes into the scene, now it takes on the different appearance. That one is kind of like a electric shock, kind of going full. One of these days, maybe I'll figure out how to make electric look like lightning is shooting off of him in different directions. That would be kind of cool. I'll enhance these some more. I'll play around with the animations and play around with some of the settings, see if we can add some more special effects to it and stuff. But so far, yeah, it's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. We got a couple different ways of bringing them into the scene. Next, I want to make sure that the multiplayers can do this. So if somebody else sets something on their player, then basically when they come into the scene, it uses their particular setting. So I need to change that and update it into the multiplayer realm now. We added the fields to the table here, so I need to add them into the multiplayer section. And then go ahead and, do it where you can use those. So to do that, the first thing we're going to do is we are going to add those 4 columns that I added to user avatars to our multiplayer user avatars, which is right here. I'm going to alter this table. The easiest way to do this is if I alter this table and copy these 4 rows here, copy that, go into the multiplayer table and paste those right here, and I'm going to put it right after privacy, and we'll say apply, put it right after privacy. I know I'm adding it here in this particular place, which is fine. Okay, for now that throws it in there, but we will want to update the actual user table, the create statement, so that we get the right information there. In the multiplayer table, which is going to be this one, so SQL editor, create statement, now I have this, and I need to go to multiplayer, yeah, it's going to be right down here, class function multiplayer, and user table, which is user animations, tracking, chats. Okay, it is colors, and finally user avatars. So let's overwrite that and indent it properly so it likes the way I do it. Now for aesthetics. And the last part is we need to change the piece here. And we need to change the, oops, sorry, went too far. Down here we do the same thing with the unique key so that it has a unique setting if you run the table more than once in the same database. Okay, so if you're running 2 instances, saving them in the same database, that won't cause a trip up on naming conventions. Okay, now we've added the field here, but we have to update a couple more things. For the multiplayer to be able to do this, we need to, first of all, on our connect pieces, we need to be able to update here what's being changed. When we call this update piece, update avatar, we send it some values, and I'm going to need to send these 4 values in here so that it gets updated with the rest of this statement right here, so that the database on the multiplayer gets the same update as what you changed. So when I do this, let's see. Okay, we're going to first find in files. The part that calls this is, oh, it's not in that section. I'm sorry. It is in the multiplayer JavaScript file, which is right, okay. I could have gone anyway to get there. Multiplayer, JavaScript file, find. I didn't mean to say find all. Let's just click find. And that is where we're passing the values. So from here, first thing I need to do is let's get a local variable going of these values. For now, I'm going to set one of them because we haven't created the other drop downs yet, but the avatar enter animation. Let me call it what is enter animation equals WalkTheWeb dot get DDL value, and that is going to be the value of this drop down because we've already set that the second you came into the scene, so we should be able to grab it from the same source, which is in my menu file here. And I'm never going to see this page again, am I? Okay, so menu file, that's the name I need to copy. And let's get back to here and drop it there. Okay, so this is the value that we're trying to pass right now. Just because I already know we have 4 values altogether that we're going to work with, I'm going to say enter parameter equals blank, and I'm going, let's see, var z exit animation equals, we'll call it 1 for now until we actually create the drop down and update it. And then we have z exit animation parameter equals blank because we're not passing any parameters at this time. But now we need to put them in with the rest of this stuff that's being passed. We're going to do it after privacy. And we need enter animation. We need that one. This one, and this one, And the reason I went with just single or double lettered variables to pass it is because this is quite a long statement. I don't want it to get too long, and by doing too much, then you can actually hit some of the lengths of what the browser allows, which that's pretty extreme, but just keeping it safe. So I didn't want to take up too much of that with my actual parameter names, so I kept them short here. So let's call this ENT, ENTP, EX, exit, exit P. I can get rid of a couple more letters. Okay, entrance, entrance parameter, exit, exit parameter. Okay, we'll take those 4 values now and bring them over to the update avatar piece. And we're going to read in, I'm just going to dump them on the page so I have something to work with. And we're going to copy that, create 4 more pieces. It's going to be called this, that, and the other. No. Copy that, go here, and copy that, and drop it here. And this one is EXP, this one's EX, this one's ENP for entrance, and then we have EN for entrance animation. Okay, so now we have those 4 values being passed with this here to be updated. Now we can go into our update statement and doing the same thing, adding 4 fields here. We are updating that. Okay, I know I'm going to go back and forth a couple times here. Okay, we have that. That. This is going to take care of it. So when we go ahead and pass new values and we actually have it all coded in place, this is going to make sure that we don't have to worry about our this side of things, because it's already going to be set to handle the different pieces and save them in place here. So enter animation goes there. Enter animation parameter, copy that. This one's a text, these are numbers. So we will put that there, and finally put that there. And before I continue down the page, the other piece is I set default values if they don't come through, and I want these 2 to be set to 1 if they don't come through. I want to make sure that they're numbers. And then the others come up blank if they don't come through, if they're not passed, which is perfectly fine. Now, based on that, we still have 4 more names that are going to go right here. And they sit right, I didn't get enough. Copy that here. Next. Next, and finally this one. Okay, we have those 4 values after privacy. So I'm going to add this at the beginning of each line, and I'm going to add this at the end of each line. Before the comma, oops, actually I just need those 2 pieces because we already had the comma in there, and right there and right there. Now 2 of these values are strings and 2 are numbers. Okay, that gets them into place and makes them the right format that they need to be. And let's see, is there anything else I need to do with this part of the statement? That updates what we're getting there, but this is going to bring back the data of what we did with the different people. So that inputs it into the statement, and then we have what we're grabbing about the other people. Select everything from avatar animations. That one's fine. What am I updating here? Wait a minute. There's two pieces here. This is user avatars in multiplayer. This is user avatar animations. Okay, we didn't change the animation. We're good on that. So I don't need to do any changes there. The colors, we didn't mess with that section. We're good there. And response, it's been updated. Okay, so this one doesn't return any values back. We don't have to worry about that. The piece that we do need to bring back is we have update, then we have get avatar. This particular one, when we call this, we're getting the user or the avatar ID. The table letter A is user avatars, which means the wildcard right there gets all the fields, and then we have the different values that we are putting in place down here. Okay, we need to get our 4 values right here, which are enter animation. We'll get them to this page and then work from there. So enter animation, parameter, exit animation, and finally parameter on that. Now that I have those 4 values here, this is blank, that one's blank, this one is a string, but it's a number, and we'll call it 1 unless we hear otherwise. Then for this piece right here, we're going to need, same way we did this, 2, 3, 4 values there. Let's get these down here. Just working it through the code. Just got to know where to go next. Okay, privacy there, and finally exit animation parameter. Okay, the good news is as I add these other fields in here, we're actually going to have it already in the code and being passed where it needs to be. Then we only have to apply it. This is all the heavy lifting behind the scenes right now. So copy that, go there, and copy that, and go there. Okay, next we are going to, this is the piece where we need it right down here. And once again, 4 fields. And we're doing it one more time. Let me grab that right there so that we can just copy and paste them here where they're nearby. I have to move between 2 different screens. We want that. I know, going through the pieces. Tedious, but worth it in the end. And copy that. Copy that. And finally copy that. Now we're passing the values back into the code, and where we actually did this command, which is file name to clipboard, go in here. See, we passed them to it, and now we're going to find where we pass it from it. And once we get these values, this is where we're creating the item. Add avatar, we pass the avatar def, which is this piece that we're working with. So this, find that, and oh, okay, this is actually in our main code. find in files. It's not part of the it's actually adding the avatar coming from the other part, which is building it with that piece in place. Good sign. Let's get the computer going. We want to test multiplayer. We have to have 2 people in the scene. Okay, we are almost there. We added the fields. We've added the string and the value all the way through the code so that when we get a multiplayer in our scene, we're getting their transition into the scene. And now I'm turning on the other computer so that I have some type of access to bring another person into our scene. So we have the multiplayer environment. And let's make sure we didn't break anything on our side. Don't think we did, but you never know. And there I am. I'm coming in with lightning. And this will be cool. This is just a cool effect overall. It's bringing in the other players so that they have some type of cool functionality as it brings them in. That way the player themselves can decide how they jump into a scene. Now, a couple of these, such as the one that I currently have, what I have in this particular one is it actually has kind of a lightning effect and it brings it in. And notice the yellow glow that goes on around the player. Well, what we can do is we can actually pass a parameter and you can select what color you want it to show around it. So there's some options with that we can play around with, and you would be able to customize it even farther. That's kind of some of the stuff that we'll be doing on some of them that have different settings available. Others don't necessarily have settings available, but like I said, we'll have some different settings available so we can do different things with that. And excuse me, I'm ready to take a nap. No, my afternoon nap. No, like I ever do that. Tanks. One letter makes a big difference. One, I'm thanking you. The other, I'm sending tanks. Now, if it's fish tanks, it's less threatening. We're almost there. Bear with me. This other computer had done a Windows update, so basically, instead of just jumping onto the scene and ready to go, it's completing a Windows update as I turned on the computer. Should have turned it on about an hour ago, then it'd probably be ready about now. And the second keyboard's up going, and it's personalizing things. What's that? Thinking about that's pretty funny. Okay. And come on. Yeah, computer's still winding up. Gosh, I keep yawning. Okay. I'm going to put my own crowd to sleep. That reminds me, Soldier Avatar. Where I picked up these avatars, I picked 10 that worked for us right now. And there were more options, and I even wanted to use more options. But some of them weren't ready for the skeleton I was using that works with all the other animations I did. But there are actually a whole lot of other avatars available that I can make an avatar package that people can enhance and be able to use and pick from above and beyond the ones we have. There's a couple things I'll have to do though, because what happens is right now I'm filling your screen with 10 avatars. I need to have a way of showing more than that on the screen at a time, or scrolling through them, or rotating through them, or something. So until I design that piece and prepare each one of the avatar files, there's a bunch of work I have to do to prepare each one. I have to fix certain things. I have to customize certain things. There's a handful of different pieces that have to be in place for us to be able to use avatars and different avatars. I want to make sure that we have all those pieces in place before I do it. So sometimes I have to rename body parts, the bones within the structure to make them match the current schema that we're using. There's a whole bunch of stuff I have to check before I can bring them in.
Yeah.
But there are probably, I want to say, 25 to 30 more avatars we can have as a choice once I do that. But there's, it's kind of like being torn in two different directions. There's so many other things I have to do first. But we have 10. That's a good start. But just know that we have hopes of adding in an avatar package at some point that lets you really pick from a bunch of different things. And that includes soldiers and droids and dwarfs, and I know there's politically correct words for that, but that's the word they put on the file. And there's all kinds of different pieces that we can use at that level. So let's see. I'm going to first of all open this scene. I know you can't see my other screen right now. I should. One of these days, maybe I'll figure out a way to set it in a position that you see it behind me or something. But that'd be pretty small on your screen anyway, so I don't know if that'd even help. But in the meantime, let's see. Yes, we have an anonymous. I'm going to off-center him here. Okay, let's move him off to the side a little bit and rotate that around so I can kind of see him. He can see me. Now, when I refresh my scene, we should see whatever one he has selected. By default, it should just pop in. I expected that at this point because it's a starting point. When you haven't chosen anything else, boom, it popped in. Okay, now I'm going to edit their avatar. And avatar animations. And I'm going to change the scene. Let's go with transport rings, because that'll be pretty obvious if it's working or not. Now I'm going to refresh it in my scene, because that should pull it from the database. I don't know if I have to refresh it in their scene or not. I think I might have to. Let's see. Here it comes. And it popped in. Okay. What it is, I can tell you already. The reason it has to be updated because I haven't told it to run the update process into the multiplayer unless you're coming in brand new. So by doing that, we'll get that where if they make a change, it automatically shows on your scene. But I have to do a couple things before that piece is in place. Let's refresh our scene and see. We should have some rings going around the guy that appears. So first our guy gets into the scene and grows. Boom. Now the other person. And we get the rings and it appears. Yes. Okay, so we are able to set which one they're getting and which one they're using in the scene. Okay, that's a good sign. We're in process. We need to, well, there's a handful of different pieces, but we've made progress because now they can set their own thing and it'll be the way that they appear into our scenes. On the fly changes and stuff like that, I'm not ready for that yet. There's some more pieces I have to do. So I'm not going to go down that path with you at this moment. I'm sure we'll be revisiting that at a later time. But the cool part is whatever one they set it to, we are working and we are able to see. As you can see here, we get the revolving rings around their character. Let's see. And, okay, there was a position thing there. I'll catch that later. But notice, we got that far. We have revolving rings. Yay! Okay, awesome. Okay, well, I want to thank everybody for joining me here today, and that was pretty cool. We've implemented different ways to come into the scene. You can set them on your own and try your own version. Just go into Avatar Animations, and the same place you set your walk, and you also set optional gestures. This one right here lets you change how you ride into a scene. Let's pick one, and just for closing arguments, woo, here we go. Coming into the scene, and watch my guy. And it fades and comes in, and then the smoke disappears. And they got the rings coming around them. Yay! We have different ways to join a scene. We'll keep on adding to that list because it's pretty easy to add to the list now. And we'll play around with that some more later on. But right now, that's really cool. The idea would be to add some enhancements to it where you can change the colors that it glows if it has a color, or different settings that it has. You may want to do different things with it, but we'll give it some enhancements later on maybe. Okay, and otherwise, that was pretty cool. So, okay, I want to thank you all for joining me today. And I will be back another day. But have a great day and happy Thursday, everyone. Take care, and I'll see you again soon.